This was me, and if you're anything like I was, this cycle seems all too familiar to you. Step 1. The next shiny object. Watching endless YouTube videos, doom scrolling, just trying to pass the time until a new opportunity comes across your feed. Dropshipping, Amazon, TikTok shop, crypto, you name it. Step 2. The rabbit hole. You become obsessed, researching endlessly about this new opportunity that it completely consumes your life. You watch every YouTube video, listen to all the podcasts, and follow all the people talking about it on Instagram. The constant results you see people getting fuels your motivation even further. Step 3. Decision. This might be how I actually get to quit my job. I mean, what if this completely changes my life? Okay, I'm gonna make this happen. Step 4. Action. You start taking action on what you've learned. Balance is an afterthought. You're all in and you go as hard as you can for the first few days. Step 5. Resistance. You know, this isn't as easy as I thought it was going to be, and it's taking up way too much time. Maybe this isn't the opportunity that I thought it was. Step 6. Drift. You start taking less and less action. Consistency is non-existent, and motivation is a fraction of what it was in the beginning. You've lost sight of why you wanted to pursue this in the first place. Step 7. You quit. Now, if I can be honest, I was a master of this cycle. I went through it with real estate, with SEO, lead agencies, Instagram theme pages, affiliate marketing, drop shipping, crypto, you name it. I was constantly reliving the same script and expecting a different result. And time again, I was just left feeling shame, guilt, disappointment. How was everybody else making this work? Almost effortlessly, but I just couldn't seem to figure things out. If you allow yourself to live this way for too long, it's gonna bleed into every part of your life. And this is why you see most people living in step 8, acceptance. Trying once, failing, and accepting their current reality forever. But I'm gonna show you how to break free from this cycle, because you see, although I failed over and over again, I never accepted it as my reality. And then once I jumped into Amazon FBA, I honestly thought I was about to relive this same cycle once again. But then I discovered what I call the 4 keys to lasting change. This made all the difference. After that, I went on to hit my first 10K month, my first 50K month, and my first 100K month selling on Amazon. But that's not even the best part. I personally helped over 800 people start and grow their own Amazon FBA business as well. And in this video, I want to share with you what those 4 keys are that have the potential to completely change your life within the next 6 months. So let's get into it. Key number 1, purpose. He who has a strong enough why can bear almost any how. If you take a step back and reflect, there is only one real reason why you're watching any video talking about how to make money online, how to grow a business, or personal development of any kind. And that's because there is something in your life right now that you don't like, you're missing, you want to get rid of, or you want to gain. Maybe that's money, status, control, time, or maybe it's something else. But if you were completely stoked on your life exactly as it is right now, you wouldn't be drawn to these kinds of videos. So what we need to do is we need to figure out what that is. Because if you're trying to sell on Amazon, or you're trying to start any business, or you're trying to improve any area of your life, in the beginning, it's going to be challenging. Just like any other thing in your life that you've never done before, you have zero experience in, it's going to take you some time to develop the skills to actually make this run smoother and easier. Unfortunately, most people don't make it past that learning curve before they completely give up because they thought they were going to have it figured out on day 1. And I was the same way. I told you I was a master of that cycle, jumping into something else, going down the rabbit hole, obsessing over it. And then as soon as there was some resistance, I would back out. So it was really easy for me to start something and then quit because I didn't have this deep-seated purpose that made me think I have to make this work. When I started selling on Amazon, it was 2018, but I found out about Amazon in 2016. But in 2016, life was good. I was making decent money. I was with my girl. We didn't have any kids. There was no real stress in my life, nothing pressing me forward. It was more of a, this would be nice to have. This would be a nice thing that I could accomplish. And then, yeah, I get some more time freedom and all this stuff, right? But it wasn't pressing me enough to make it happen back in 2016. So what changed in 2018? Well, my son was born. And at that point, everything changed. I thought to myself, I was like, yeah, I could stay at the sheriff's office, but I'm gonna miss everything for a job that would replace me tomorrow. So when I made that mental shift, it didn't matter how many times I failed or how people were going to perceive what I was doing, whether they were going to make fun of me, whether they thought it was a good idea or not, whether I became the butt of all the jokes at work, which I did, whether a supplier told me no, how many websites I had to be on to find profitable inventory, how many lists I had to scan. That shit didn't matter. My purpose and desire to make this work in order to get complete control over my time and my life and be able to do what I want, when I want, with whoever whatever I want and make more money than I did at the sheriff's office, that was significantly stronger than the struggle of starting a business. So it didn't matter how many obstacles I was running into, I was going to see this through no matter what. And this is the mentality that you need. You need to have this at the forefront of your mind at all times, because you're going to struggle. There's going to be obstacles. You're going to fail. You're going to get rejected. People are going to laugh at you. And when those things start to happen, if your purpose isn't strong enough, you are going to quit. You're going to procrastinate. You're going to get distracted. You're going to drift. And when you start drifting, you might as well stop right there. You need to have a strong core emotional driver. What is the reason that you want to build this business? What is the reason that you want to gain this thing in your life? For me, it was just time. I don't care about cars. I don't care about houses. I don't care about all this shit. Yeah, that shit's cool. But for me, it all came down to time. Now, in order for you to find this, it's super simple. Ask yourself this one question. If I keep doing the same things that I do every single day, I keep the same habits, the same thought patterns, the same relationships, the same beliefs, the same job, the same personal standards, what will my life look like in 3 to 5 years? And what kind of life can I provide for my family, my future family, or myself if I keep going down this path? You need to really take the time to reflect on this question and write it down. Create an anti-vision. What are things going to look like if you keep doing the same shit? And if it's not what you envision for your life, it's time to make a change. But in order to make lasting change, you need to figure out key number 1, which is a deep-seated purpose. Key number 2, commitment. Successful people adhere to the no exceptions rule. When it comes to their daily disciplines, once you make 100% commitment to something, there are no exceptions. It's a done deal, non-negotiable, case closed. Jack Canfield. Every other time that I tried to make a business work, or I tried to eliminate a habit, or I tried to add a habit into my life that was going to yield a lot of results for me personally, mentally, financially, I was always 90% in. And a lot of people are like, well, 90%, like you can probably still get a lot of good results at 90%. And I disagree. I think 90% is significantly harder than going 100% in on something. When you're 90%, although it seems like you're almost all in, you're not. You're leaving the door open just enough for procrastination to creep in, distraction to get a hold of you, shiny object syndrome, and internal negotiations. Oh, I don't need to do this right now. I can just do this tomorrow. It's just one day. I have all this time in the world. I can figure it out later. And that is a slippery slope that way too many people fall for. Those internal negotiations will cause you to drift. It'll cause you not to go as hard. It'll cause you not to be as disciplined about making this business a reality. The problem with those internal negotiations is that almost always it will lead you to drift off the path. It will lead you to not going as hard. It will lead you to not being as disciplined. And if you allow those things in your life, it's going to lead to a lack of consistency and then a lack of results. But when you're all in, there is something very interesting that happens in your mind. It is no longer a matter of, I will do this if this and this happen. I will do this if I feel like it. I will do this if I have time. It becomes a, I'm going to do this no matter what. It is a non-negotiable that I will see through regardless of what is going on in my life. Because most of the time, the things that derail everybody from starting this business or making money online or fixing their life are normal ass problems. I'm a little sleepy. I'm a little too tired in the morning. I'm hungry. Oh, I'm so distracted. I'm procrastinating on this. Oh, I want to go hang out with my friends. Whatever that is, 99% of the time, the things that are derailing people off the path are normal ass problems. You need to have the ability to look at all of those normal ass problems and be like, doesn't fucking matter. I'm going to make this work no matter what because I have a deep-seated reason to do so. Key number 3, fear. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Seneca. I'm going to be honest with you guys here. I am someone who has developed a PhD in overthinking and catastrophizing over the years. And it wasn't until I learned and I dedicated the time daily to discipline my mind that things really started to change. But my mind, 98% of the time in the past, was, what if this doesn't work out? What if I look stupid? What if I fail? What if I lose money? What if this? What if that? What if this does not work out for me? And time again, because those were the prevalent thoughts in my mind, I was crafting a reality that was congruent with my line of thinking, which was, this will not work. And if I tell myself enough times that this will not work, what are the chances of me going really hard into this business or really hard into this position? Like, I specifically remember when I went out for narcs, I wanted to get into the drug task force more than anything when I was in the sheriff's office. That was my number one goal from day one. And I had my chance. I had my interview come up and I lost out by 2%. And the entire process, it wasn't I'm the best for the job, I'm this, I'm that. I'm bilingual, I have all these skills, I have all these massive arrests, all drug related that I can bring to the table. It was, what if I don't get it? I'm not gonna get it. I don't know enough. All of these thoughts. So sure enough, I get to the interview and I'm nervous as fuck because I am feeding myself all of these negative things. And this is what a lot of people really deal with when they're trying to start a business, when they're trying to go against the grain and do something different. They deal with fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of loss, and just self-sabotage all the time without even realizing it. But guys, let me ask you a question. I want you to really think about this. Let's say you go and you want to start a business. You want to make some money online. You want to get some control over your life. What's worst case scenario? You start this business and it doesn't work out. You lose a couple $100, maybe a couple $1,000. Then what? You get a job. Worst case scenario is most people's daily life. You need to wake up. Fear is the dream killer. You already know what's on the other side of fear. It is your life right now as you currently live it, but you are willing to stay there because it is what you know. But what you don't realize is that when you allow fear to control your actions, it's going to lead to shame, guilt, and disappointment because you are allowing something, an imaginary evil that does not exist. It is just a creation of your imagination. You are allowing those things to control the actions that you take and the actions that you don't take. So it is not just that you are going to live currently as you are right now. You're going to live currently as you are right now with massive regret, massive shame, massive guilt, and massive disappointment because you know for a fact, deep down, whether you want to admit it or not, that you left a whole lot on the table. So how do we fix this? And this is simple, but not easy. You need to be disciplined with, yes, your actions, your daily things that you do with yourself. But you need to be disciplined with your mind, disciplined with what you allow in your system and what you don't. Now, like I said, this is simple, but not easy. Chances are, if you're anything like I was, you have developed this strong habit of negative visualization because you've done it for so long that when you go and you try to really visualize positively how things are going to work out, how this business is going to happen, whatever you want to visualize positively, it's really hard to stick to that because we haven't built up that habit yet. We haven't developed that skill. The skill that we've been crafting for years and years and years is negative visualization. How are things not going to work out? How are things going to go wrong? How much am I going to lose if this, and this imaginary thing, imaginary scenario happens? Because we've been doing that for so long, that habit is so incredibly strong. So in order to get rid of it, we need to start operating from faith and not fear. Disciplining the mind daily practice of disciplining the body and the mind. As soon as I implemented this in my life, it was like I took these goggles off and I took off all of this weight off my back and I was actually able to see where I was going, what future I was going after, and I was able to pursue it significantly faster. This is a game changer. Remember, fear is the dream killer. Key number 4, discipline. Daily discipline is all that is standing between your current reality and the reality you dream about. Guys, this is it right here. This is the secret sauce. Daily discipline with your actions and your thoughts. I remember when I tried dropshipping, which was right before starting Amazon FBA, but I started looking into the business model and I was just so overwhelmed. I was so out of my area of understanding. And I was like, this business is so incredibly complicated. Website creation, copywriting, funnels, ads, finding products, marketing. I was in way over my head, completely overwhelmed. But instead of working through it daily, I was so overwhelmed that I would just put it off. Maybe I'd work on it today, maybe I'd work on it next week. I was just so in over my my head that consistency and discipline was non-existent. So I ended up quitting. But then we fast forward a couple months and I found out about Amazon FBA and I dove into the rabbit hole, the same thing that we talked about in the intro of this video. And I just consumed all of the information and I realized I will never find a simpler business than this. No marketing, no ads, no copy, no sales calls, no funnels, no website creation. I simply have to find a product selling for less and then sell it for more. So I thought to myself, if I'm gonna make this happen, it needs to be right now. So I made it non-negotiable to work on my business, specifically with calling suppliers. And guys, I was still at the sheriff's office. So I would routinely fall asleep at my desk around midnight, 1, 2 in the morning, wake up at 6 a.m., get ready for work, and then go work my shift. But because I made it non-negotiable and I fully committed to making this work and calling 5 suppliers or finding 5 suppliers every single day, it didn't matter how stressed out I was. It didn't matter how tired I was, how overwhelmed I was, how sleep deprived I was, how motivated I was. None of that shit mattered because I made this non-negotiable. I knew and I told myself, as long as I keep hitting the phones day in and day out and I just keep building my list of suppliers, eventually I will build momentum. Eventually something will work out in my favor, and it sure as did. But if I would have been all sporadic, like, oh, I worked a 15-hour shift, I can't find my 5 suppliers, oh, I'll work on it next week or next month when I have a little bit more time. If I would have operated in that way, there is no way that I would have ever built momentum. This is why I tell all of my clients, source daily, make it a habit, even when you don't feel like it, and momentum is inevitable. Look, take the next 6 months of your life and really understand these 4 keys to lasting change. And you can completely change your reality. You can build a business. You can implement new habits. You can become whoever the you want as long as you implement these keys to lasting change. Because chances are you've tried to white knuckle through things dozens of times and they just don't stick or it doesn't work out. So how many times are you going to keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result? You're not stuck. You're not broken. You just need to make a few tweaks to your strategy and you could realistically change your entire life within the next 6 months. Now that you know what it takes to get your mind right in order to build a business or to make some lasting change in your life, I want you to watch this video next where I show you how to sell on Amazon completely for free on a free YouTube video. I don't need you to DM me. I don't need your email. I'm not going to give you a free lead magnet. I just want you to take the information that you learned from here, go start your business, make some money, and get some time freedom in your life. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.